Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of Underground Video Network's Behind the Counter. In this episode, we're going to be giving our review of the huge crossover from the CW this year. Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of Behind the Counter. I'm Mike Boroff.
I'm Richard Carajon.
In this episode, we're going to be talking about our review of the... There's one thing we've gotten used to the past few years from the CW, is the monumental crossover. And I dare say, Richard, I love the CW shows. I love them to death. I love all of them. I think their crossovers are some of the best episodes they put out. This was my favorite.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this one was my favorite.
Until next year. Oh.
Until next year.
I spoiled.
So yes,
spoilers if you haven't watched it.
We are going to be. This is going to be a very spoiler heavy. It was Elseworlds.
Yeah.
Which, wow.
That's explain what Elseworlds for people who might not know.
Yes. Another reason why I love the way that DC does things. Elseworlds is a I don't want to say a brand.
It's a brand.
It's a brand, a brand of DC comic books.
That's not part of the continuity that's set up within whatever they're calling it now. You know, the rebirth.
Yeah.
So
in the Elseworlds stories, which if you get a chance to, go to your local comic book dealer, like us here at Alter Ego Comic Books in Lima, Ohio. Look up the Elseworld books. Some of them were phenomenal. We have stuff like, what if Superman had landed in Gotham City and been adopted by the Waynes? We see if Batman had been given the Green Lantern ring.
Or Superman Christ in Russia.
Yeah. Oh, that's one of the best. Yes. Yeah. So yes, do yourself a favor and go check those out. But yes, Elseworld is a brand of stories that is an imagining, a different take of what we know already.
Sort of like what used to be before the original Crisis, where there was multiple worlds.
Yeah, it was just a story.
Because they're exploring the multiverse heavily in the CW.
Heavily.
So that's where this all comes out of.
Mm-hmm. This year's crossover took place between Supergirl, Arrow, and The Flash. And you might be asking, well, what about Legends of Tomorrow? They weren't having none of that.
Well, technically.
Well, there was a nice little cameo, which we'll get to in a minute. But it was nice because this year, Legends of Tomorrow did their own standalone episode, and even kind of knocked on the crossover, because it was like, hey, we got missed phone calls from Barry, Oliver, and Kara, and I was like, they probably just want us in this year's crossover.
It's breaking the fourth wall, people.
They do.
Cosmic. They break time, space, and the fourth wall.
Oh, which Legends of Tomorrow was one of my favorite episodes, because it was like they did their own Elseworld episode, because we got to see the Charlie's Angels take, we got to see the 80s action movie take, we got to see the
Muppets.
Oh my God, I need all of those Muppets. So it was a fantastic episode, but
to Elseworlds.
Going back to Elseworlds. Pictures had leaked from months ago. We saw Oliver Queen and Barry Allen.
Freaky Friday.
Their entire lives had been swapped, and it was surreal for me, because I cosplay Arrow and I have a good friend that cosplays the Flash. Seeing those two actors in each other's suit, because we're both like, you wanna? Yeah, I wanna. You wanna? Yeah. At least the cow. He might not. My friend might not fit in mine so much anymore. But seeing how these two, I think that's the thing I love most about any of those crossovers, is seeing the relationship between Barry and Oliver.
Oh yeah.
They really are. It's almost like, the reason why I like the show so much is there's a brotherhood between Oliver and Diggle. They are brothers. Oliver and Barry have an older brother, younger brother relationship, and they play off of each other so well. One's the light side of the coin, and the other one's the dark side of the coin. And this was the first time, being in each other's shoes, we got to see how those people would react literally being in the other shoes, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Oliver got to see what it would be like to be a little bit more cheery and optimistic. And Barry got to see why Oliver is the way he is, such a pessimist. You know, not a pessimist, but, you know, has the weight of the world on his shoulders. And both of them have love for each other and respect, but that was amped up after this episode.
Yeah, and they realize, you know, when they switched, that what the other one really does.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like Oliver gave new respect to Barry for what Barry does.
Oh, yeah.
Because he never thought of it that way.
Yeah, he always thought of Barry as like a goof.
Yeah.
You know, like a little brother. Like you.
Well, the shining light.
The shining light. You know, your angelic little brother.
And he has problems.
Yes, and when Oliver got to see, you know, how much weight he is truly carrying, a great deal of respect
Because that
was
whole
given.
sequence in the bar was just...
And while we're in the bar, the one nice cameo, the one carryover from Legends of Tomorrow was I don't remember the goofy little.
Oh yeah,
the time agent from Legends of Tomorrow. It was nice to see him play a nice little role as the bartender, and not too far off a character for him too.
Right.
You know, he wasn't all like, "I'm a bartender." He was still like, "I love you guys. Can I have your autograph?"
because they were the brothers or whatever.
Yeah, but the two. Well, God, I'm not doing it justice by saying all the really special cameos. The one that I think I was looking forward to the most was seeing John Wesley Shipp. Not only in the episode, because we all loved that, but we got to see him as the Flash from the 90s Flash.
More or less, yeah.
More or less, yes. And that was a really nice touch. I saw that right off the bat, and I got to give them super props for that. Earth 90.
Right.
The 90s.
Yeah.
Everybody that was laying there. We saw Stargirl, Hawkgirl, Hawkman. We even saw Smallville's Green Arrow laying there on the ground. And to see John Wesley Shipp in that suit, and when he rushed towards the camera and you heard that little hint of the theme song, like da-da-da-da,
Like that.
that was amazing. And his role in it, I'd take everything with a grain of salt. You know, I see the good with the bad. I was hoping for more. I really was hoping for more. But his cameo was there. It was important, rather brief, even for a Flash.
And it, yeah. It was, you know.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like, hey, bad things coming, look out for it, you know.
He was like playing the Harbinger role.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry. I hope we get a Harbinger.
I got a feeling we're going to.
Yeah, I think we will too.
Which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah.
But the other thing, the other person, Batwoman.
Oh, yeah.
Just them truly 100% acknowledging Gotham and finally touching on that not only is there a Gotham, there is a Batman in the CW universe.
And we get to see why he's not involved with what's going on right now.
And it really did, especially if you know your comic book history, it really did make sense.
And it fit really close to the movies.
Yes, it did.
So, I mean, especially when you saw Bane's mask, I mean, you know, it's one of them things. Is it part of the cinematic universe, you know, or not? So, or that cinematic universe.
Yeah. But to see Ruby Rose play not only Kate Kane, which was awesome, but to see her portrayal as Batwoman, that was right on. And I know we've talked about it before. My first introduction to Batwoman was 52, one of my all-time favorite series.
Countdown.
Oh my God! That costume was dead on, and we got to see Arkham.
Yeah.
So many great little Easter eggs in there.
Especially when the gas dropped. I knew right away what was going to happen. You know, it's like, wait, that's Scarecrow.
Yep. Crane right there on the box, you know. We got to see the cells and everything. We saw Cobblepot. It was a nice, not only was a nice nod, but it was a firm acknowledgement. This exists in this universe.
And it's not Gotham, this series. You know,
right?
You can tell that had nothing to do with Gotham.
No, not the TV show. No.
So, and the other touch was the one with the mask.
Oh yes, which again harkens way back to Crisis on Infinite Earths, because when they first showed him when everybody's escaping and he puts the mask on, which first of all,
Yeah.
if you run a prison with super villains, keep the crap locked up better. He just happened to have it, but when he popped that mask on, I knew right away. I was like, boom, Psycho Pirate.
Yep.
Then it was just like, my mind was like, I already know where this is gonna go. I can already see it, you know.
The Purple Skies tipped me off a little bit, but then when
Yes.
they said it was actually the Flash trying to break through universes, I go,
Right.
oh, okay.
Yeah, especially the idea that, because you would have been right into something like that too, because when the skies followed them,
Right.
it could have still been that.
Yeah.
But it was the idea that it was.
It was a foreshadow.
Yeah, it was Barry Allen, you know, trying to find them.
It's other universes crossing over, yeah.
Yeah. Yet again, another great crossover was Supergirl.
Correct.
Love seeing her with them two, and I really do love the relationship between the three of them. DC comic books is Trinity, maybe Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, but the CW's Trinity is Green Arrow, Flash, and Supergirl. That was great, and the nerd meltdown moment that I had. I'm not joking. I am not ashamed of this. I literally I screamed. Was we knew they were going to give nods to Smallville,
Right.
which, by the way, some of our younger viewers maybe there was a show called Smallville. It was a great show. All the shows that you are watching now, Green Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, they owe it all to Smallville. You will not change my mind. Fight me on this, you know. But we knew there were going to be nods. We'd seen like a couple stills
Right.
of the barn. But when
The music.
when that song, I'm not kidding. I will get my phone out right now. "Save Me" by Remy Zero. Don't even have to look it up. Is on my playlist. I love that song. It means a lot to me. When I heard that song, on the floor.
And the picture popped up on the social media almost instantly.
This is not a dramatization. This is what I was on the floor. This is why I live alone. Rewind. Okay, I'll calm down the second time. Somebody. Oh man.
And then we got Lois.
We got Lois. We got Clark. We got Lois and Clark. And I said this on social media, and I'm going to say it here right now in front of the entire world to see, or all four of our viewers again. Tyler Hoechlin is now officially my second favorite Superman. I almost say first just because I hold Christopher Reeves to such a standard that there's no, you know what I mean?
Watch the 40th special.
But his portrayal of not only Superman, but Clark, and his relationship, Clark and Lois, that's what sold me. Because I always thought he looked like a great Superman.
Oh, yeah.
I love the costume. I love his portrayal of Superman. I love that they didn't need to.
Oh.
You know, I never. This is my own personal opinion. I never liked the big, roided up looking Superman.
The Rod Liefeld look.
Yes, I like Superman looking like a normal human being. That's what makes him super, is that he's not a, jacked up, roided guy. It's not hard to believe somebody that looks like that could lift a train. But to see somebody of average stature lift a train, that's Superman. But seeing his portrayal of Clark and his relationship with Lois, I'm like, he's gold. I adore him.
I love the nods to the Superman the movie too that they did between the two of them.
Yes, they did. Oh, the little dinner later
And when they were in the Portraits of Solitude.
Yes. Oh, which I love. I just love that.
And she was wearing the dress very similar to a cut from the movie too. So.
Yes, she was. And I really did. I liked her portrayal.
Yeah.
She reminded me very much of Margot Kidder.
I think that's what they're really, really trying to go with.
I liked the chemistry between the two of them. I thought it was natural. It didn't feel artificial. Lois and Clark had great chemistry. I really did. I enjoyed the two of them together. And God, what else can we the Monitor.
Oh yeah.
Oh man! Again, going back to Crisis, the comic book Crisis on Infinite Earths, that was a very recognizable, definable character. And to see him brought to life. That was amazing.
He was testing them, so we know
Yeah.
there's something coming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and what was really cool was, I didn't catch this till later, but the book actually was actually to the Sandman mythology. And the one that was actually using that reshaped it, he was actually a character from the Sandman from Vertigo. So, they were taking pieces and placing them everywhere. So.
Mm-hmm. And I did this is why you should always talk to your friends about stuff like this, because I didn't catch that at first. Then when I went back and watched it, when they opened up the book, you can see for a few seconds text.
Yeah.
And when I looked up the Sandman, I was like, that's text. And then when he pointed out that the main villain of the story, after he was all like, they went all emperor on him, like,
Yeah.
it was like, oh.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, so it's all fits together, and then that's what I think. I love the multiverse, aspect,
Yes.
Because the crossover. The only thing that kind of slipped in my mind was Supergirl mentioned that Superman and Batman had teamed up. Did you get that?
Yes.
So was there an original World's Finest crossover?
I'm glad you asked that question, because I was going to ask you that question. Because do you remember ever in Supergirl them acknowledging Gotham?
Not really.
See, this is what really this is where.
But that was that reshaped universe.
Yeah, but she wouldn't have had any memory of it, though.
No, but it was a reshaped universe from what's his name that opened up and reshaped, because it had already been reshaped because they had switched bodies.
Right, but I still don't think, because Kara wouldn't have affected Kara's memory, because remember, that's the reason.
True.
That's the reason why she recognized Barry.
Oh yeah. Well, they were on their
Oliver.
other planet, so I don't know. But yeah, I don't know where they're going with this.
because they allude very strongly in the episode that Kara knows Batman, and Kara knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Right.
And that, if you, the viewer, know more information that we missed, we would love to know. Please explain it to us. It didn't take away from the moment.
No.
Because that moment with her.
Well, it added on because, when she took this line straight from the Superman movie where she looked her over and said, "You have tattoos everywhere."
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, how did you recognize X-ray vision? Wow, you really do have tattoos all over the place. And I got to admit, I love that little bit of that spark that was happening right there. I'm like, oh, can we make? I used to want to see Barry and Kara together. I was like, can we see? I want to see that.
Hey.
But it was nice when Kara, mentioned that it's a shame that she has to go back to her world, because
Right.
they would make a great team. And then Batgirl says the infamous line, "World's finest."
Yeah.
You could hear the collective gasp of nerds all across America going,
Hey, it's what it was,
Yeah.
And I still think it's setting up for, her being the crossover next season, or even the second half of the season. We don't know what's in store for Supergirl the second half, because
Yeah.
there's a whole nother storyline happening, because the other one wrapped up with this, what do they call it, mid-season finale.
Right.
So, I like how they're doing that, because they're actually making like 10 episodes. It makes the stories move better this season.
And the Supergirl episode was really great, because it gave more of a in-depth explanation as to where Superman had been during this period in Supergirl, and why he wasn't there. I mean, I remember somebody had said something about he was in Argo City, but now knowing that he was there with Lois, that made a lot more sense, because it really does. If you were Superman and there was a world out there that had your planet on it, it's like, hey,
Plus the surprise package we learned about. Little Connor.
No. Jonathan.
Jonathan. Yeah.
Yes.
That's right, Connor's the clone.
Yeah. Yeah, it was revealed at the very end, in such a warm, tender moment between Lois, Clark, and Kara, that while they were on the planet,
That makes sense.
It made sense. It made a lot of sense, and knowing that made a lot of sense why Clark and Lois want to go back.
Yeah.
And I liked, because.
Well, that'll keep him out of the play. So
Yes.
Supergirl's the main one on that.
Yes, it's her. I love Superman, and until he gets his own show, which I would love for him to have his own show, it's still Supergirl's show. It's not Supergirl, Superman.
Super show. It's not
Yeah,
that.
that's fine with me. I love seeing Superman, but I'm not watching the show for Superman.
I wish they would go in the direction of maybe miniseries.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, a Superman 6-parter or something.
Yeah.
You know, I think they need to start experimenting with the time frames better. You know, and they originally was going to do that with Legends. That was originally supposed to be only like a 6 or 8-part episode, and then they stretched it the first season, so the whole season got wobbly on us. And now they have their pacing down better.
Yeah.
That's why everything that was all wobbly at the beginning.
Yeah. But yes, with the announcement that Lois is expecting and that it makes legitimate sense for Lois and Clark to go back to Argo so Lois can have, you know,
Oh.
the child safely, that it makes perfect sense, and it's a great out and a great explanation as to why in the foreseeable future
They're gone.
Superman's out of the picture.
At least 9 months.
At least 9 months, yeah. And I did like the line that Superman said, you know, and he knows the Earth is in good care.
Right, and he gave all kudos to her.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he says it's your time, basically.
Yeah.
So,
Which was like a nice nod to her and to the show.
yeah.
It's like, I'm stepping back. I have had my time to shine.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It really did, and I love the way that they handled it. Now, there is a question I want to ask you. What do you think the deal was that Ollie made with the Monitor?
I'm not sure. I still don't know about that.
If you have any theories or ideas, please, again, let us know. We'll let you know at the end of the episode where to tell us. The two theories that I'm clinging on, that I'm following, is one, Ollie's going to sacrifice himself.
That's, yeah.
And let's be honest, I mean, we're going into season 7.
Does he know about Barry knowing about the paper?
I think he does.
So, yeah, that would fit with that. Because he don't want him to go. He'd rather see himself sacrificed
Yeah.
instead of Barry. Especially after the flip-flop with
Yes, because destiny has to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Barry's place.
Okay.
And it's something Oliver would do.
Yeah.
It is totally within character. And like I mentioned, we are going on season 7, possibly season 8 of Arrow. And any good show worth its salt, as much as I love that show,
Okay.
has to know when it's time to step back.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, how long can we keep doing this? And that would be a good...
And then they could dispute some of the, or distribute the characters. In other series could pick up some
Yeah.
something.
Or even as we've seen in the show Arrow, that somebody could pick up the mantle,
Oh, yeah.
you know, which that's a whole nother episode. But that episode of Arrow where we got to find out who has been, I don't want to say masquerading, but stepping in as Green Arrow while Oliver was in prison. If you know your Green Arrow comic books, it makes 100%
Oh, yeah, it
sense.
does.
100% sense, and I am all for them moving on with that, because we could keep the Arrow franchise going, but starting over with a new character.
And under that take, that maybe is why they bumped up what's going to happen next year. You know, maybe we'll get one universe.
Yeah. The other theory that I'm hearing the deal is, remember the Monitor has been going from universe to universe to try to find the right universe.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Oliver said, this universe.
Yeah.
Oliver made the agreement, this universe. This is where we will make the stand.
There you go.
Which, again, is something that Oliver would do.
I can't wait to see the antimatter wall.
Oh.
That's the first time I thought of that.
But as we come to the end of the episode, what was really nice is they didn't even leave anything to speculation. They just came right
Yeah.
out and said it. It's like, we know you people are going to be thinking it. We're just going to save you the time. At the end, Oliver gets a phone call from Batwoman, you know, about the new inmate.
Right.
And we got to see a very familiar character with the gold mask, the Psycho Pirate, talking to the Doctor.
Correct.
And if you remember, go back and read the book, you know, Psycho Pirate was pretty much I don't want to say the focal point, but he played a major role in Crisis on Infinite
Because he
Earths.
could see, like, everything.
Yes.
And he was the only character that actually knew what had happened. So that was your always linchpin to destroy the original Crisis. So, oops, I said the word.
Yeah. But he says some lines that harkened back to that series, and like something is coming, and it's going to be a crisis of infinite,
Yeah.
and then right in your face, Crisis
Fall.
on Infinite Earth, fall,
2019.
2019. Well done.
That means December, people. Fall stretches created December.
Yes.
So don't get confused. I saw a lot of people go, oh, they're going to do it in October or something. No,
No, no,
fall
no, no.
is actually December.
Yeah.
Winter doesn't happen until December the 21st.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. it's a little technicality.
No,
and I wanted to get an argument online, but I didn't.
You're absolutely right. Look at a calendar. It's like you can have your opinion, but facts are facts. I'm only saying that because I actually just the other day I was looking at my calendar and I'm like, oh yeah, yeah.
That's the day where they used to get the goats out and stuff to make sure everything. Oh, wait, never mind.
How dare you bring pagan mythology into? Yeah, that's a whole. Nother,
Yeah, that's another.
That's a whole nother on a whole nother network. But yeah, we didn't get teased. We were written a promise. We were told what's going to happen. Crisis on Infinite Earths.
It's not 2024, but I'll take 2019.
That might have been the other deal.
Or do they time warp ahead?
They possibly could. See, I like this because now conversations, not arguments, conversations are being. Oliver could have made a deal to jump up the timetable, or like Richard said, it could be a time limit.
The whole series. I mean, they do that all the time in different
Mhm.
series. Even in comedies, they jump ahead.
Yes, they do. Have you ever watched Lost? Discussions. And speaking of discussions, we would love to know what your take on the Elseworlds crossover this year was. And Richard, where can they do that at?
The easiest way is on all of our social medias, and you can find all of those at undergroundvideonetwork.com.
Okay.
First try. Oh my.
I know. We better, yeah, the little red light's on. I was going to say, I got it on the first try. We better make sure.